So the trick is to have a good enough relationship by now to be able to ask some fairly straightforward questions. Why aren't you moving forward? Really? Is that true? It is? Then here's the solution. It isn't? Then what is the truth? Why won't you move forward? That's basically the first step to closing a deal. Why won't you move forward? You gotta ask why. And then just understand and solve. Then repeat steps 1 through 3 until the deal closes or you get closed. To me, it's like a really fun game of cat and mouse. You're gonna tell me why you can't or won't move forward, and I'm gonna tell you why you can and should. The solutions I present are gonna be the key. If I'm really good at solving problems, I'll be really good at closing deals and influencing people. This is one of the reasons I became really good. I faced so many problems in life that I got really good at solving them. I am a problem solver like you wouldn't believe. I look for problems. I see problems as opportunities just to solve the problem. And I like to eliminate them as soon as I see them anyway. Here's the one thing I've learned the hard way. Problems never get smaller. They start out small as they're ever going to be. They tend to only get bigger from there. So why not handle them as soon as you see one? Would you rather have a few little issues or a few major ones? Too many times I've avoided problems hoping they'll go away or rationalized why I didn't have time to deal with them, but they always got bigger and more costly to solve. Don't avoid problems. Jump on them as soon as you see them and get them handled. Or do what I do. I look for them. I seek them out. I hunt problems down with enthusiasm so I can get better at solving them and get rid of them before they get bigger at the same time. It's like a freaking sport to me. I look at them like riddles and puzzles, and I love to see how fast I can solve them. Most people avoid problems. That's their problem, is they avoid problems. I've always said, if you want to make $1 million, just solve 1 million problems or solve one big one. People don't buy products and services. They buy solutions to their problems or so that they can prevent problems. So you might as well get good at solving problems because there's good money in it. Okay, trust me. I've made millions of dollars solving problems for both myself and other people. And the better you are at solving problems, the better you'll be at closing. It is key to remember this in sales too, because you always want to sell the solution or result of your product or service, not the product itself. I mean, like you didn't buy this training because you wanted training, right? You bought this training to get a result. You wanted to be better at sales, or maybe you wanted to learn how to close deals. But why? So you could make more money, get a better boyfriend, get a better girlfriend, get your kids to start getting better grades, whatever. You bought this program to get a result. You wanted to be better for a reason. So whatever product or service you're selling to people, you want to make sure that you fully understand the problems that it can solve so you'll be better at identifying ways to help your customer. Make sense? Then when you meet a potential customer, you're trying to make a friend and see if they're having problems that you can help them fix. If you can, well, there's a commission in it for you. If you can't, then maybe down the road, if you did everything right, they come and find you when they do have a problem you can help them fix. That's how you should be thinking, long term. You want to build a career out of it, not just a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am deal, and then on to the next one. That would make you a dying breed because relationships are the new currency. And if you're just in it to make some quick cash and treat people like cattle, they aren't going to stick around very long. And soon the news will get out. You would be amazed at how fast bad reviews can travel nowadays. With social media, you can literally reach a ton of people quickly with one bad review or one report of being a pushy, high-pressure salesperson that only cares about your money and how to get it. It will literally 10x the damage to your brand and reputation. So do yourself a favor and listen to what I'm saying. That's what people will want and value. Trust me. People want to be helped, not sold. Now, maybe we should start calling ourselves helpmen or helpsters. I'm a helpster now. How can I help you? Anyway, the first step to the close is finding out why they're not saying yes or moving forward. And the second step is to understand and solve the problem. Notice how I said that you want to understand and solve the issue. If you're genuinely interested in solving their problem, you'd be more capable of doing it if you understood what it was, right? Most amateurs will simply listen to respond when they should be listening to understand. I want to really understand your problem so I can be instrumental in fixing it. I want to understand how it feels, what it's like, and I want to know what it feels like myself. Then I can become what's called empathetic, which means that I can understand and share the feelings of another. That's truly what you want to do. And that's how you become more valuable in solving problems. Product knowledge and being empathetic. Okay? Closing is a dance. The steps are ask why, understand and solve, and then repeat. It's a cycle that continues until you either close them or run out of questions and solutions, or they close you. If that happens, you failed to close the deal. No big deal. Because if you did all the steps right, you might get another opportunity down the road. But if you didn't do them all right, you probably won't, which is why you want to take all of this very seriously and practice each and every step until it becomes intentional and you're aware and cognizant of what you're doing, step by step, question by question, comment by comment. It's a skill and a craft, and you're going to master it. And once you do, it'll become automatic. You won't even need to think about it. It will just happen. It's called being unconsciously competent. There's 4 basic stages of learning. The first one is what's called unconscious incompetence. That's when you aren't aware that the skill or knowledge gap exists. That's why I said the only difference between the great salespeople and the bad ones are the bad ones don't know they're doing it. They are unconsciously incompetent. Then you have conscious incompetence. That's where you know you suck and you realize that you can be better if you just try, and that's where the real learning can begin. Then you have conscious competence. This is where you know how to use the skill or perform the steps, but you need to practice. You need to be intentional and work hard at mastering those steps. Then you reach unconscious competence. This is where you want to live. In unconscious competence, you have enough experience doing it so many times that it becomes second nature and you start doing it without even trying or knowing that you're doing it. You do it unconsciously, and that is where you want to get to. Now, the last step of the sales process is what I like to call the indoctrination. To indoctrinate someone, you simply want to teach them. When it's all said and done, you want to teach them several things. That you're there for them forever, that this isn't a one-time deal, not just for this problem, but for any future problems. You want to teach them whatever, anything, and everything that you want them to know or believe about you. Like, you want them to give you referrals, correct? Here's where you want to ask for those and indoctrinate your customer into the way you want them provided and what that means to your customer. That's why I like to call it the indoctrination. It makes it a process. It makes it a whole thing. I indoctrinate them into my world and I make sure that they know everything I want them to know. Make sense? I'm going to give you a few tricks later on about this. 99% of sales professionals forget to do this step or have never learned to do it. This is where you will set the groundwork for the future. This is where you will generate much more income and many more sales and not even know you're doing it. I'm going to talk specifically about referrals in another part of this masterclass, but this is where you'll teach them how to give you referrals and how it benefits them to do so. This is where you'll teach them to call you if they need anything. This is where you'll teach them that you're grateful and thankful for their business, and that if they need anything at all, that they can call you. This is where you'll teach them that they made a friend in the business and hopefully have a trusted source. The indoctrination is where you will put them into your book of business and begin to nurture and care for them forever. The step at the end of the sales process is almost as important as the one in the beginning, because eventually they'll feed each other. But most people miss this step altogether and it costs them huge. Whatever you do, always finish the game by indoctrinating your prospect or new customer into your world and getting them into your book of business. Now, we can talk more about this on the lives, but let's take a quick test to make sure you got everything I said so far.